Hey guys, so as promised, season 4 of Merlin BBC. Like always, I'll do a rundown of the episodes, so I'll say who the artist says Merlin's name, I'll give you a total, and then we'll go on to talk about the characters, side characters, and any other plot points that I think need to be addressed. Before we start, there's been a year between the last season and this season's first episode. Just a quick recap. Morgana is now evil. Arthur is king. Well, he's gonna become king in the third episode. And um, Merlin is slowly coming into his Emrys self, and he's the last Dragon Lord. And Gwen is with Arthur officially in a relationship. So, and another interesting Agravain, who is Arthur's uncle, Ingrid's other brother. That sounds wrong, but that's what it is. That's it into the first episode. So, season 4, episode 1, The Dark Tower, part 1. As I said, this is 1 year since Morgana's betrayal, and she's now wheelbarrowing her sister Morgoza's corpse to um, Samhain. I hope I said that right. To summon the mighty Kalich to open the veil between the world of the living and the dead. Meanwhile, the Kalich informs Morgana that Emrys, who is Merlin, will be her doom. On the next day, Arthur, Merlin, and the knights investigate these mysterious slaughter of these. Basically, everyone in the village is dead, basically. And they find that there's these creatures who kill by touch, like freezing their victims. Gaius identifies them as the Draka. Refugees come to Camelot to protect themselves, and Gaius tells Arthur that only a blood sacrifice can close the veil. Arthur is prepared to sacrifice himself, but of course, Merlin will let that happen. Agravain is a double agent working for Morgana while being under Arthur. Um, Gwen asks us to protect Arthur because, of course, she is technically dating him, courting him. What's the proper terminology? I don't know. It's 2AD people. Um, while on the route to the Isle of the Blessed, they stop at an abandoned castle, the knights and Merlin and Arthur. And there, Doc attacks Arthur, but Merlin throws himself between them, taking the blow. That is where episode 1 ends, and Arthur said Merlin's name 13 times throughout the entire episode. Episode 2, The Dark Tower Part 2. Let's not volunteers take Merlin back to Camelot to get help, while the knights continue on to the Isle of the Blessed. The Villa, who are the spirits of the river, heal Merlin overnight, and Lancelot and Merlin join the group back at there. Meanwhile, in Camelot, everyone wants to close the door to the citadel because they need to have enough food for everyone, and he decides to lock the lower town out of the citadel, and Gwen opposes him. At this time, Morgana tries to kill Guinevere because she saw the vision of Gwen becoming queen, but Gaius stops her. But Gaius saves her just in time. Meanwhile, back with Merlin and Lancelot, Merlin summons Hilgard to help them, and they arrive back with the group. At the Isle of the Blessed, Reverends attack the group, but Merlin persuades them away, and Arthur goes to sacrifice himself, but Merlin knocks them all out. And while talking to the Kalich, Lancelot sacrifices himself, dying. Morgana is furious upon realizing this and asks Agnes friend who Emrys is. She can kill him and become queen. Back in Camelot, Lancelot is given a knight's funeral. That is the end of episode 2, and Arthur is Merlin's name 4 times. Episode 3, The Wicked Day. This is Arthur's birthday. Yay. And we have fire eaters, sword throwers, magicians, the whole 9 yards, fireworks, everything. Luther is depressed because Morgana's betrayal. Get over it. And doesn't really say anything for the entire feast. After the festivities are over, Arthur goes to talk to Uther, but it finds out that Uther has been poisoned. Um, Seeing no other way, Merlin goes to turn back into Dragoo, the old version of himself, and offers to help Uther, but Morgana had already planned for this. Morgana devised an amulet that would reverse any healing spell 10 times over, killing Uther instantly. When Merlin or Dragoo did his healing spell, it didn't work and it instead killed Uther. And now Arthur hates magic even more because he killed both his parents, his mom and his dad. And he declares that magic has no place in Camelot. And Arthur said Merlin's name 17 times. My favorite episode of Lucia. Okay. Yes, I know Lucia is a boy. Yes, I know that it's not supposed to be. That's not how you pronounce the name. But to me, that's how you pronounce the name. It's a girl. I do not care what you all say. Um, Julius Borden arrives to Camelot with a map that reveals where the last dragon egg is hidden. Um, the knights and Arthur, with alongside Merlin, go to find the egg before Borden does. Unfortunately, Borden puts them all to sleep with a magic mushroom, and so Merlin's left only one left awake. He goes into the castle where the tomb where the egg is hidden and reveals to Borden that he is the last dragon lord, and he saves the egg in his bag before the tomb collapses on top of him. Arthur asked Merlin if this egg was destroyed, and Merlin said yes. Later that night, Merlin summoned Kilgara and hatched the egg, revealing the last white dragon, which he named Ethusia. To me, Ethusia is Merlin's daughter. That's it. um, Arthur said Merlin's name 10 times. His father's son. So this is the first time since Arthur's coronation to be king that he has to actually be a king. Since Morgana usually allies herself with Queen Anne, who's a enemy of Camelot. She says that she may be Uther's by blood, but she is her father's daughter. Arthur is given the reputation of being like his father, evil and being a tyrant, but Arthur proves that he's more like his mother, understanding, kind, and caring, but he's still yet firm and strong in his decisions. At the end of the episode, Queen Anne says that Morgana may be like Uther more than she thinks. Episode 5, Arthur says Merlin's name 11 times. Episode 6, my second favorite episode, I'll tell you why. um, when Arthur's party is ambushed by Morgana's men in a forest, a wounded Merlin allows himself to be captured by Morgana. Morgana puts this worm-like creature into his neck, which makes him like under Morgana's control to kill Arthur. So his first tries to poison Arthur's meal, but Arthur already has his meal by Guinevere, so that fails. Then he tries to use a crossbow to um, impale Arthur, but the crossbow second does not work. Then Arthur has to kill Arthur with his own sword, but then Gwen knocks out the jug, which I love, by the way. And then Arthur was like trying to hit powder into Arthur's bath, which will be like corrosive. And then once again, Gwen knocks out Merlin out of the jug, which I love, by the way. It's just so funny. Um, Gaius removes it, but it can regrow the worm-like creature thingy. So he does himself as Dragoon again and goes to confront Morgana. And Morgana thinks this Dragoon is Emerus because he hadn't met him yet. So to her, the old man is Emerus. And so after a battle, he defeats her and destroys the worm-like creature, freeing him from her control. In this episode, Arthur said Merlin's name 6 times. Episode 7, The Secret Error. I hate this episode. Morgan joins with a wizard named Alator so they could find out who Emrys is. Meanwhile, Agavine makes Arthur suspect Gaius. Okay, so let me just say this right now. There's a line in the episode where Arthur says to Merlin about Agavine, he's my uncle. I would want to say about that Gaius is my uncle because that is like such a weird scene. Yes, Arthur Agavine is your uncle, but Gaius is Merlin's uncle. Like, think about that. But no, sorry. Yeah, Agavine plants evidence within Gaius's room about like magic and all that stuff. And at night, Gaius is kidnapped by Morgana and is tortured to say whoever's identity is. Um, when Merlin comes to save Gaius, Alator betrays Morgana without saying who Emrys is, because Emrys is the god of magic in this world. Um, Arthur says Merlin's name 3 times. Lamia, okay. Now, this episode I also hate because of how the knights acted, and then we got an apology scene in this episode. So what happens is the village is being tormented by this figure, and it makes the men fight each other to win like this women's affections. It's like a siren, but like on land. Um, See, it doesn't affect women. It's gonna affect magic users. So it's like all the knights are like disregarding Merlin as his abilities, cause and then at the end of the episode, Arthur kills the Lamia, thankfully saving Merlin. Um, but um, we had an apology scene from the episode, which I kind of feel bad about because they were so mean to him. But it's fine, I guess. Arthur's Merlin's name 4 times. Leather to Luck. Arthur finally proposes to Guinevere, and they have the tournament in her honor. And Lancelot's body, not his soul, his body comes back, and and made a story about his return because he's actually under Morgana's control. Um, Merlin is very immediately on guard because Lancelot forgot that he has magic, and Lancelot is one of the people who knew that Merlin had magic. So he runs a spell on Lancelot that this is um a shadow, basically. Like it's not really him. And fake Lancelot gives Gwen a bracelet that makes her cheat on Arthur, causing Arthur to exile her and end their engagement. Merlin knows that this wasn't Lancelot, but he's too late to stop anything. And he lets Gwen take refuge at his mother's house in Ealdor. Before burning this Lancelot, the fake Lancelot kills himself in the dungeon. So Merlin goes to burn his body, give him a proper funeral, and before he does, the real Lancelot thanks him for giving him this proper burial, and Merlin just smiles before sending him off. And Arthur Merlin's name 2 times. The Herald of the New Age. Um, After coming back from the hunt, the knights stumble upon a old religion shrine deep in the forest. Elian ignores Merlin's warning and drinks from a well. After returning to Camelot, Elian begins to see a drowned child's ghost, and the ghost possesses him and makes him kill Arthur. Elliot's attack on Arthur fails, but Agavain convinces Arthur to execute him. Gaius and Merlin find the shrine, and they find that it's actually one of Uther's slayings of the Druids. After Arthur realizes that Elliot's possessed, he tries to kill after he tries to kill him again. Gaius tells him the spirit won't rest until the crime is atoned for. Arthur tells Merlin that he was the one who led the attack on the Druid camp. Arthur swears to the spirit that this would never happen again, and the spirit leaves Elliot alone. And Arthur says Merlin's name 11 times in episode 10. Episode 11, The Hunter's Heart. Morgana has a powerful ally in the southern warlord Helios. Together they plan to bring Killock to its knees. Meanwhile, Arthur tries to marry the princess of a neighboring kingdom, Princess Mithian, but it fails to raise the alarm. But Arthur and Gwen obviously still do love each other. But Gwen is turned into a deer by Morgana, and Mithian had to kill her, but thankfully Arthur saves Guinevere before anything can happen, and Arthur says that they were better off just being friends and allies than an actual couple. Arthur says Merlin's name 10 times, not 10 times, yeah, no, 10 times in this episode. Episode 12, The Sword and Stone, Part 1. One second. Okay, yes, here we go. Morgana attacks Camelot with Helios by her side, and during this attack, Arthur is wounded and Merlin's under a spell to make him avoid whatever he's told. In this, we see that Arthur is actually rather well mannered and is truly sorry for the way that he treats his people, and the way that he treats Merlin is just an act. It's just to keep up the banter that they have because of how close they are with each other. So Merlin makes Arthur just as a simpleton, and they join a raiding party. Meanwhile, Merlin is trying to take the throne, but it refuses to take it until Arthur is back and slain in front of her. But before they left, Merlin put the little fear root that Morgana used on Uther under Morgana's bed to scare her. Arthur finds out that Agravin is working with Morgana, and he feels like everyone in his life has left him, and that he's not the king that he thought he was. He feels that he's nothing, and that he can't do anything to save his kingdom now. And that is where the episode ends. And Arthur says Merlin's name 8 times. Episode 13, The Sword and Stone, Part 2. After leaving Ealdor with the raiders' camp, Arthur and Merlin are in the cave system heading back to Camelot. There, Agavain follows them, and Merlin stays back to fight them off. In that, he reveals his identity to Agavain and then kills him. But before they go back to Camelot, they stop in the forest where Arthur feels like he's not worthy of being king. So, Merlin makes up a tale about the sword and the stone, and gathers everyone in the kingdom who still believes in Arthur to give him the courage to pull the sword and the stone. Of course, it's Merlin's magic, not really Arthur. Anyway, this brings out Arthur's courage in himself and to fight for his people. Back in the castle, Arthur and his people overthrow Morgana and making him king, and he crowns Guinevere after marrying her. In the forest, she is wounded, but Ethusia comes and heals her before flying away. We find out later on that Ethusia has taken on Morgana as her handler, but she is very sick in the first episode. We see her in after this. This is the last episode, and Arthur says Merlin's name 6 times, bringing the total to 110 in season 4. Um, so as I said, this is a very good season. It had really good episodes, good characters, and a lot of new things. But what I'm seeing is like a lot of like miscommunication, I want to say. Um, Starting off with Lancelot's death. I mean, don't get me wrong. In the actual stories, Lancelot survived. He was the one that survived Arthur's death, and Guinevere married him after Arthur died. That's just legend, though. Another thing is that there are a few like episodes in this season which I kind of don't like that much. I mentioned Freya in the last season because I haven't really seen Merlin's love interest, but this was, I believe, this was this because the actors who play Morgana and the actors who play Merlin are dating in real life at this point. Were dating in real life at this point in the show, but moving past that, um, Merlin is definitely more into his magic nowadays. He's more in control. He doesn't really like fumble as much as he used to. He has more muscle now. But he's still learning as everyone does. Arthur is now king, so he's more responsible and so he's more in tune with his people. He knows what they need and knows just how to get that to them. Gwen is now queen. She has to also take care of her people as Arthur takes care of them. She cannot be who she was before, which I kind of see in the first episode immediately. Because up to this point, Merlin and Guinevere have been so close. They are like brother and sister. But unfortunately, after she becomes queen, that thing is completely destroyed, and I don't know how to put that. Um, Morgana, she's evil now. She didn't, but I feel like if you give, see, what was the point to her turning evil? It was her sister's death, and Renata had been lied to her entire life. If I feel like if Merlin just told her about her magic, this would have never have happened. He could have prevented this just by telling her about his magic, but he refused to, even after he knew that he could save her. Side characters: the knights, Leon, Lancelot, Percival, Aline, Gawain, Gaius, again, Agravain, but he dies. Ethusia, Kilgara, the usual side characters. Uther dies. Thank the Lord for that. We all hate him, people. We were happy when he died. Um, Any other side characters worth talking about? Not really. Not in my opinion, because I mean, but yeah, other than the deaths, the births, and other things, I don't think there's much to talk about. This was not the best season, but it is the final season, which has more um conversation between Arthur and Merlin, as in getting closer to that point. So far in season 5, all the episodes have been double digits of season 6, but I think we'll see what happens later on. I'm not done yet. I'm still on episode 7 of season 5, but I hope I'll watch the rest today. Then tomorrow will do a grand total and a total rundown of the entire series by saying Merlin's name. Um, Other than that, I think that's it. As always, I'll look for the extra episodes, deleted scenes, commercials for Saturday and Sunday. I'll see if I can do the sixth season, which is just an audio, which is a fan made audio thing on YouTube. I'll link tomorrow in my video. Okay, bye.